Starting tomorrow, SB 1383 goes into effect. So what is it? Well, it requires all San Diego County residents and businesses to separate food waste from regular waste to comply with the new legislation. Joining us on the KOGO News Live Line is the Executive Director of the Solana Center for Environmental Innovation, Jessica Toth. Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. So I had never heard of this until this morning. Tell us about this.
Well, it's a state regulation that goes into effect tomorrow, as you said. The purpose is really from an environmental perspective. What happens when food waste or any organic material ends up in the landfill, it goes through an anaerobic process, and it off gases. It emits methane and nitrous oxide, which are very potent greenhouse gases. And a good portion of our landfill, as much as 40%, is this organic material. So by keeping it from going to the landfill, we're preventing the greenhouse gases from being emitted. But in addition, it's a tremendous amount of waste. It's taking up a lot of space in our landfill, but also the organic material contains the resources, minerals, and nutrients that have been mined from the earth. So when you throw them back into a landfill, you've lost their value, as opposed to when you compost or anaerobically digest them, and you can get renewable natural gas or a soil amendment back from that material.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. So let's say you're in the habit of throwing leftover food, in a garbage bag and putting it into the garbage. Are you going to need a separate container?
Yes, you will. And many of the haulers are providing kitchen caddies. So if you're a resident, you can keep this little caddy in your kitchen. So when you chop up your vegetables or when you scrape your plate, you can put it right into the kitchen caddy and then take that out to your yard waste bin. Some of the, as I mentioned, it can go for composting or it can go for anaerobic digestion. Depending on where it's going and your hauler, there may be specific requirements in terms of whether you can put it in a paper bag, wrap it in newspaper, or just dispose of it directly into your yard waste bin. And the same will be true of food-generating businesses. So the restaurants and grocery stores will need to separate the food waste.
So that is going to be a big job for them, correct?
Absolutely. So Solana Center for Environmental Innovation, the organization that I work for, is providing technical assistance for the businesses. We're doing a lot of outreach through webinars and videos to teach residents as well as people who live in apartment buildings how this is going to, how it affects them. And yes, it's a very big deal. And each of our 19 different jurisdictions, the 18 cities and the county of San Diego, are required to provide education and outreach to all constituents.
So this is a law. What happens if you break this law?
Well, in the immediate future, nothing. But beginning in 2024, the state will require that if you're out of compliance, as in if you're a business and you're not complying, the cities can start enforcing and fining. But beginning in January, it's required that each jurisdiction have the services in place and can begin doing inspections of businesses. Now, having said that, there's been a grace period because of COVID, and so don't be concerned if you haven't seen any information or new bins given to you for your food waste. Some, for example, the City of San Diego does not yet have the service in place. There is a grace period. But beginning in 2024, that should all be, beginning way before that, it should all be in place. But by 2024, you could actually be fined if you're a business and you're not complying.
All right, Jessica Toth from the Solana Center for Environmental Innovation. Thank you so much for the information and for your time.
Thank you.
Me too. Starting tomorrow, SB 1383 goes into effect.